The message arrived in the middle of the night, a sharp tone that echoed through the Terran command bridge. Captain Rhea Morgan had been half asleep in her chair, boots on the console, when the alert flashed red. She rubbed her eyes and leaned forward, expecting another routine patrol warning. But the moment she saw the sender, the solar dominion of Kareth, her stomach tightened. No one had heard from the Kareth Empire in years. When they reached out, it never meant peace. The bridge lights dimmed as the transmission played. A tall, pale alien with silver markings across his forehead appeared. His voice was cold, almost bored, like he was reading a grocery list. Terrans, your expansion ends now. Your fleet is requested to surrender. You have 1 cycle to comply. Someone on the bridge snorted. Rhea didn't need to turn around. She knew it was Lieutenant Hale, the man who found humor in every possible disaster. Surrender, he muttered. They really don't know us at all. Rhea didn't laugh, but the corner of her mouth twitched. She played the message again, this time listening not to the words, but the tone. Arrogance. Overconfidence. The Kareth were sure humanity would kneel. She stood and looked through the observation glass. The Terran fleet drifted in the darkness below. To an outsider, it would look small, even fragile. But inside those ships was something no alien empire ever understood. Humans didn't fear impossible odds. They studied them, they adapted, and sometimes they enjoyed the challenge. Hale stretched his arms. So, Captain, do we pretend to be scared or just start laughing now? Rhea turned, exhaled, and finally let the smile form. Let's laugh later, she said softly. Right now we prepare. The bridge hummed with quiet energy. Something old and dangerous had awakened. The fleet gathered near the shadow of the moon, engines silent, lights muted. It almost felt peaceful, too peaceful for what was coming. Rhea stepped into the strategy room, where Admiral Corvin stood hunched over a holographic map. He looked tired, but his eyes were sharp, alive in a way she hadn't seen for months. They're moving faster than expected, he said without looking up. Kareth scouts already crossed the outer belt. Rhea leaned on the table. And they expect us to panic. Corvin gave a soft, humorless laugh. Oh, they hope for it. There was something comforting about the way humans reacted to fear, not by folding but by sharpening. The room filled with quiet murmurs as officers studied corridors of space, checking fuel lines, assigning wings. The mood wasn't grim. It was focused, determined. Hale entered carrying 2 mugs of bitter coffee. He handed one to Rhea. We should toast to our upcoming stupidity. She raised an eyebrow. You mean bravery? Same thing, he said, taking a long sip. Rhea took a breath. Have they sent a second transmission?
Yeah, Hale replied.
They said failure to surrender is unwise. Rhea almost laughed. The Kareth Empire prided itself on strategy, yet they never understood humanity's simplest truth. Tell a human not to do something, and they will do it twice. Corvin finally straightened and faced the team. We're outnumbered, outgunned, and outclassed according to them, which means we have the advantage. A few eyebrows rose. He continued, voice steady but calm. The Empire will expect predictable behavior. Fear, retreat, begging for negotiation. We will give them none of it. Rhea felt the tension change. The air shifted from quiet calculation to something sharper, something almost excited. They haven't met the Terran fleet before, Corvin said. Let's make sure they never forget us. A quiet murmur spread, a mixture of nerves and a strange, warm spark that felt like courage. The first enemy ship slipped out of hyperspace like a blade cutting through calm water. Then another, and another. Within minutes, the stars were swallowed by a fleet so large it looked like someone had painted black metal across the sky. The Kareth commander opened a wide-channel transmission. Terrans, this is your final opportunity. Lay down your arms or be erased. This time, nobody on the Terran bridge even pretended to be serious. Hale coughed loudly, failing to hide his grin. Someone else muttered, "Here we go." Rhea stepped forward as the holographic image of the alien commander flickered into view. His posture was perfect, chin high, every movement rehearsed. He believed he had already won. Rhea lifted her hand casually. Yes. We hear you. The alien blinked. Do you accept the terms? No, she said simply. The alien paused, visibly unsettled. Terran, do you understand the consequences? Hale whispered behind her. He sounds offended we didn't tremble. Rhea kept her voice steady. We understand everything. But you made one mistake. And what mistake is that? The alien said with slow irritation. You assumed we were scared. A ripple of laughter moved across the bridge. Not loud or mocking, but genuine, almost gentle, like a quiet truth finally spoken. The alien's expression tightened. Your arrogance. No, Rhea interrupted. Just confidence. The transmission cut sharply. Seconds later, sensors lit up. The Empire was charging weapons. Rhea turned to her crew. Positions. The officers moved with a calmness that made her chest tighten with pride. No panique. No chaos. Just synchronized motion like gears turning in a well-built machine. For a moment, as the enemy fleet shifted into formation, Rhea felt something unexpected. Humanity wasn't the one being hunted. They were the storm the Empire had walked into. The Kareth Empire moved first. A wave of plasma fire streaked across space. A blinding wall of blue light meant to intimidate as much as destroy. Rhea watched it approach, not with fear, but with the cold, analytical calm she'd learned long ago. Shields up, she ordered. The Terran barrier shimmered to life, bending the incoming fire like rain hitting glass. The bridge vibrated, but nothing broke. Nothing failed.
Hale Vislet.
They really thought that would do something. But the enemy didn't stop. More fire came, a storm meant to overwhelm. Rhea read the pattern quickly, efficient, disciplined, but predictable. That was the weakness of empires that lived too long in their own superiority. Admiral, she said quietly, they're using their standard grid formation. Corvin's smile was thin, just as planned. Terran ships peeled away, not to attack, but to confuse. They drifted like debris, engines dimmed, almost graceful in the silence. To the Kareth fleet, it must have looked like disorganization. But it wasn't. It was misdirection. Humanity's oldest trick. Rhea watched the scanners. The Empire pressed forward, tightening their formation, believing they were pushing the Terrans into retreat. Hale leaned close. They still think we're scared. A soft laugh escaped her. Let them. Corvin gave the signal. Activate Ghost Protocol. For a breath, nothing happened. Then one by one, Terran ships vanished from the sensors. Not cloaked, but hidden behind a web of distorted signatures and false echoes. An old human tactic born from centuries of fighting with fewer resources. Kareth commanders must have been scrambling. The enemy formation shifted, confused, trying to track ships that seemed to multiply and disappear at random. Rhea breathed out slowly. We're in, she whispered. Terrans hadn't fired a single shot. Yet already, the Empire was losing control. The Terran fleet broke through the outer line, slipping between confused Kareth cruisers like shadows moving through fog. Rhea's ship glided silently, engines low, weapons cold. They weren't here to start the fight. They were here to end it cleanly. But then a scream of static tore through the bridge speakers. Captain, enemy cruiser charging a planet-breaker cannon. Rhea's breath caught. That weapon wasn't meant for ships. It was meant for planets. For cities. For families. She didn't hesitate. Dropped the cloak. Full power. Hale swung around. That'll expose us. I know, she said. The ship roared to life, engines blazing. The sudden flare lit the dark battlefield like a flare gun, revealing them completely. The Kareth cannon locked onto Earth's moon. Rhea gripped the rails. Not today. Terran ships surged forward, abandoning stealth. They formed a wall, thin, desperate, human. The Kareth commander appeared again on comms, furious. You dare interfere with imperial justice? Rhea didn't shout. She didn't argue. She just stared. This isn't justice, she said. This is fear. The alien bared his teeth. You cannot stop us. Maybe that was true. Maybe they couldn't. But humans had never fought because victory was certain. They fought because surrender was never an option. Fire all interceptors, Rhea ordered. Hundreds of Terran drones shot forward, tiny flickers of light against the darkness. They weren't powerful enough to destroy the cannon, but they could buy time. Terran ships took the hits meant for the moon. Armor cracked, hulls buckled. Crews screamed orders through smoke. But no one retreated. Not one. Hale wiped blood from his forehead. Captain, we're losing ships. Rhea swallowed hard. I know. The laughter was gone now. Humans weren't mocking the Empire anymore. They were fighting for everything they loved. The Planet Breaker cannon reached critical charge, glowing like a second sun. Rhea felt the heat through the reinforced glass, even from kilometers away. She could smell burning metal, hear the distant cries of crews fighting in tearing hulls. Cannon firing in 10 seconds, someone yelled. Too close, too late, unless... Rhea's eyes widened as a small Terran frigate drifted into view. Engines dead, hull shredded. The TSS Valor. Its captain, Elias Ward, had been her closest friend at the academy. What are they doing?
Hale bireted.
Valor turned slowly, aligning its ruined body with the cannon.
No shields.
No weapons. Barely alive. Then a signal crackled through the bridge. Rhea, tell my crew I'm proud. Her throat tightened. Elias, don't. He cut her off with a quiet laugh. Someone has to finish the joke, right? Before she could respond, the Valor ignited its remaining thrusters and slammed into the cannon's core. A blinding explosion tore across space. Silence followed, heavy, unreal. Then the scanners blinked red. The Kareth fleet was scattering. Their commander appeared again, but this time his expression was not anger. It was fear, raw, trembling fear. You, Terrans, you are reckless, irrational. You throw your lives away. Rhea stared back, exhausted, heart aching, but steady.
No.
We give them to protect others. The alien swallowed hard. We underestimated you. For the last time, she replied. Terran ships regrouped, damaged but unbroken. The Empire retreated beyond sensor range, leaving only debris and fading energy trails behind. Hale slumped into his chair. We won, somehow. Rhea looked at the stars, eyes soft. Not somehow, because humans don't run from impossible odds. She closed her eyes and whispered, almost a promise. They picked the wrong species to challenge. The laughter had stopped, but humanity's message echoed across the galaxy. We protect. We endure. We rise.